Hey everybody, this is The Great Escape and welcome to the Nether Update. In today's episode, we're going to be checking out 75 new changes and features that have been brought to the game in today's 1.16 update. So if you're excited, drop a like down at the bottom and we are going to jump right into the changes. Starting off with the new blocks added to the game, as you can see, I've kind of got a bunch of them laid out here. There are a bunch, and this isn't even all of them. But the first block are the allow and the deny blocks. So these are brand new kind of creative features that are added to the game. They pretty much say what they do. So if you place an allow block and have a block above it, somebody can break those blocks. But if you have a deny block, any blocks above it, they cannot be broken unless you are the world builder, the world creator. So this gives you some cool opportunities for creating games and things. And the way you get that is by going into the command thing and giving yourself give, and then deny and allow. Alright, so next up is the ever important ancient debris. This can be found in the Nether, and you're going to want this so that you can smelt it in a furnace or a blast furnace to get our netherite scraps, which you're going to use to make ingots and things and upgrade your armor. But a couple things before I show you where to find them. They can be moved by a piston, and they have the same blast resistance as obsidian, but obsidian cannot be moved by pistons and the ancient debris can be. So as you can see, it doesn't get blown up by the TNT. To find your ancient debris, you're not going to just be able to find it by, traveling around the Nether and looking for things, like our quartz and our new gold ore and things like that. The ancient debris can be found at any level of the Nether, but it's often more found at lower altitudes. So if you want to travel down into, this area or so, you're more likely to find it. Of course, you've got to deal with the lava. But it's always going to spawn with a block around it or surrounded by lava. So let's go ahead and pop in a bunch of TNT here and see if we can unveil some ancient debris. There we go. So as you can see, buried deep within that block, there was one chunk of ancient debris, and we unveiled some blackstone down there as well. But this is, how rare this item's going to be, and it's super necessary. But this is a way to find it, as you can see. Now, according to the patch notes, the ancient debris is supposed to not burn up in lava or fires, but I'm not seeing that. It is currently being destroyed, and if I can find a fire really quickly, let's see, here we go. Same thing happens with fire, so I don't know if that's a bug that they're going to fix, but that's a current thing. Alright, our next block up is the brand new stone block, the Basalt. So we've got the normal Basalt here, this is what you'll find in the world, and then you can get the polished variety of Basalt as well. And these blocks look beautiful, and the polished Basalt is a structural block so that it changes depending on which way you organize it and do things like that. Now, you can farm Basalt, pretty similar to the way you farm cobblestone. And the easiest way to do that, if I put a lava bucket in here and then some blue ice there, it's going to farm basalt. Now the key ingredient here is that basalt must be sitting on top of soul soil. So this is a quick, easy farming method. Alright, our next block is the blackstone, which naturally generates in the Nether in all biomes beneath the lava level, but also in the basalt deltas and the bastion remnants. This is a new stone block. This can be used to craft any of the stone tools and things like that. There is a polished variety, just like the other stones. There's also this fancy gilded variety, which if you mine, you'll get gold ore. This pops up in bastion remnants. Now, just like with all other stone items, you can get blackstone walls, polished blackstone walls, bricks, polished blackstone bricks, the different stair varieties, the slab varieties, and the chiseled varieties and all of those different things. So just like with all of your other stones, you've got a lot of new tools to work with, and this is a dark tool that'll be great for building and adding a lot of variety to the game. Pop over into survival really quick just to mine this block out, and as you can see, you get gold nuggets, and it is affected by fortune. Alright, the next block added in is the border block, which is another creative block. In order to get it, you have to go into the feature here and give yourself the border block. And you can find that there. Now, if you are in survival and there's an area with the border block, you obviously won't be able to go around the area. You can't go over the border block. You can go around it like this, but you can't go over it. So you can use this in your creation of mini games and things. So it's got a lot of cool features. All right, up next we've got the chain, which is a new awesome feature added to the Bastion Remnants area of the game. And you can also craft them, but you can find them there. And they're designed to be, dangle from the ceiling. You can attach lanterns to them, and as you can see, the lantern looks like it's directly attached to it. And if you want to see what the recipe is to craft them, it's 2 iron nuggets and 1 iron ingot. So not too expensive, and a very cool structural block for the game. Not even the old nether bricks escaped an update in this one. We've got 2 new styles of nether brick added in, so now you can get cracked nether bricks by putting them in a furnace, or putting nether bricks in a furnace. You get the cracked variety, and you can also now get the chiseled variety if you take 2 nether brick slabs and put them together to get chisel, and the cool little skeleton, or I guess that could be a wither skeleton design on there. So 2 new structural blocks with the nether brick design. Alright, in our nether update, the nether now has a little bit more plant life other than a few mushrooms. We've now added in the fungus, and we've got the crimson fungus here and the warped fungus here. And now these can be found in the crimson forest and the warped forest areas of the nether, which I'll show you what those look like in just a moment. They will spawn on these 2 blocks, which are the crimson nylium and the warped nylium. And you can bone mill those, and you're going to get some cool things, but these will occasionally pop up when you bone mill, and we'll bone mill in the nether in just a minute. If you have your small little fungus and you bone mill them, you get this, which is, you get some warped nether, or these are nether wart blocks, which are awesome. You get some weeping vines, which grow down just like normal vines in the overworld and can be climbed. And then you get these awesome, giant fungus-like tree things, which actually have stems attached to them. And these stems act just like you would see a tree in the Overworld act. So let's go ahead and get the other example in. As you can see, they come in 2 varieties. You got the red and the blue, the warped and the crimson. Now also, when you grow one of these trees, you're going to discover up inside of them these lights. These are shroom lights, which are new lights very similar to glowstone in the nether, and so you can get them by simply growing one of these trees. So this is a renewable light source, which is awesome and very cool, and simple to build. Now the crimson and the warped stems act just like normal wood, and so you can find all the different types of features that you would normally find. So you can make planks from them, fences, gates, stairs, doors, trapdoors, slabs, all those different. You can strip them. You can do the part where there's bark on all 4 sides, or where it's stripped on all 4 sides, and you can find that for both the warped variety and the crimson variety. Now these are awesome, cool new building blocks that will look really great in the nether. Might look a little weird in the overworld, but let's pop over into the nether and I'll show you where the crimson forest and the warped forest are. And so I just got lucky that this portal actually opens out into a crimson forest. You can see we've got some of these stems and these huge fungi. Some of them can grow very, very, very tall, but they all are going to spawn with the nether wart blocks, and inside of them you're going to find these shroom lights. This is an awesome farming opportunity for wart blocks and shroom lights and all these other different kind of features. You're going to see they have the warped vine, or the weeping vines, draping off them as well. Now the crimson forests are going to be kind of this look, but around, I think it was over here. Here we go. This is the warped forest, and so just like the crimson forest over there, you have this, but the ground is a different kind of style or design. Now, if I were to warp, so I just bone milled here, and this crimson fungus sprouted here. The crimson fungus will never ever turn into a huge fungus in the warped biome. It only the fungus that matches the nylium of the biome will do that. So if you're building a farm out of this, you need to make sure that you've got the red fungus on the red nylium and you've got the blue fungus on the blue nylium. All right, next up we've got the Crying Obsidian block, which is this awesome block that has these cool particle effects coming off of it. Now, it cannot replace a regular obsidian in a portal. If you did this and tried to light the portal, nothing's going to work. So it does not have that feature. It's just purely cosmetic for that reason. But you can use them to create respawn anchors, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Now, you're supposed to be able to find these on ruined portals, which are supposed to spawn in the overworld, but I have not found a single ruined portal. So if you have, please let me know. But apparently you can also get them from bartering with piglins. All right, next up is the Lodestone, which is this really cool block here. Now, the Lodestone, which can be crafted from 1 netherite ingot and 8 chiseled stone bricks, allows you to have your compass point somewhere other than the world spawn. So right now the world spawn is over here somewhere. You can see the compass is pointing towards that. But if I use the compass on the lodestone, now the compass is going to point to the lodestone. And this works in any biome. So if I were to take this into the nether and do it, it would also work there. Where normally if you go into the nether and you have a compass, it acts all wonky. So let's check that out really quick. Here in the nether, you can see our compass is just kind of spinning out of control. But if I pop a lodestone down and put it on the lodestone, it now works. We can now use compasses as reliable forms of navigation within the nether. Next up, we've got the netherite gold ore block, which will now spawn in the nether. And these are just like normal gold ore blocks. You can mine them with silk touch and put them in a furnace and get 1 gold ore. But if you mine them with a fortune pickaxe, let's see, how much do we get from that? We got 10. I think I already picked up some from the black stone block. But you're seeing that we're getting 30. I went from 14 to 30, so it's 16. So you can get a lot more gold ore from these blocks than from normal gold ore. And next up on our nylium blocks, if you bone mill them, you're going to get some cool things. So here we've got, these are crimson roots over here. And on this side, we've got, these are sprouts, which you have to have a silk touch or shears to collect. And you can also get warped roots as well. And now these can be put into a composter and they can be used for various different things. And again, oh my goodness, you can still spawn those fungi and you can get these types of structures as well. So a lot of farm possibilities with the new nylium blocks and bone mill. And just as Nether Brick's got a new feature, Quartz now has added the Quartz brick. Looks like this. So a very cool new design to use in your quartz related buildings and features. All right, next is this really awesome block, the respawn anchor, which if you've ever tried to put a bed down in the nether and you use it to set your spawn point, you'll know it explodes. And so there was no way to respawn in the nether. You would always die in the nether, respawn in the overworld, and have to go back into the nether. But now with the respawn anchor, you can charge it up with glowstone, and you can see it adds these little particles, and it creates a respawn. Now, if I were to actually try to set this in the overworld, we get an explosion, just like you do with the bed in the nether. So let's pop over into the nether. And I've already got one here. Now, if I were to activate this, it tells you that the respawn point is now set. And if I die now in the nether, I'll respawn. And I respawn in the nether at this point, and you'll notice that it one charge disappeared. And you can keep charging that up, but you have up to 4 charges. Now, anybody can use this who's playing in the Nether, and anybody who charges it would respawn here, but each respawn will take away one of the points, and so you've got 4 before you'll respawn back in the overworld at your bed. Alright, so the next new feature is the Soulfire addition to the game, and that comes in Campfire, Lantern, Torch, and then if you light certain blocks on fire, it'll create a fire that never goes out and can't be put out in the rain. And they are give these awesome blue light features off, and they do twice as much damage as a normal fire does, so that's pretty cool. But the crafting is pretty straightforward and simple. If I pop over here, you can kind of see for a soul torch, it's the exact same torch recipe, but then you put a soul soil or a soul sand down here, and that's going to give you the soul torch. For the lantern, it's exactly the same as the normal lantern recipe, except you put a soul torch there. And for the campfire, it's the same, except instead of where the charcoal would normally go, you put a soul soil or a soul sand. So this is an awesome, cool new feature. All right, next is our target block, which is a new redstone block, which will be really useful and fun for mini games or for whatever feature. And it puts out a redstone signal based on where you hit it on the block. So as you can see there, I kind of hit on the outside, and this first block is getting lit up. But the closer I move towards the center, more and more of these lamps are going to be lit up as I do that. And once I hit the center, I should get the 15, and the 15 block all the way puts out there. So this is going to be great for mini games, and I can't wait to see the types of designs that come into using the target block. All right, last few blocks that are new to the game before we get into some other new features. This one is the twisting vines, and you'll see this growing in the Nether, and it grows up like kelp, but as you can see, it doesn't have to be in water. And cool thing, you can climb it. So this is a quick and easy way to create an up or a down in the Nether or in the Overworld. Just grab some bone meal and some twisting vine, and you can climb up pretty quickly. That's pretty impressive, actually. The reverse of this is the weeping vine, which we've already seen from the Crimson Forest. And if you break the bottom one, you can see it breaks up just like kelp or anything else, and you can collect all those pieces and you can regrow them. So this has farming capabilities, but for the most part, it just is a really cool, quick, easy way to travel around. All right, and the last block addition, so this is going to be familiar. This is the Nether Wart block. This will now spawn naturally in the Nether, in Crimson Forests and other places, and as part of those fungi that we already saw. But we also now have the Warped Wart block, which is a variant of the Nether block or the Nether Wart block, and this one spawns with those other fungi and a little bit more rarely, but that's a new change as well. All right, so now on from block changes to some new items and new updates, and the most important probably is the addition of netherite. And as we already talked about, you get the netherite. You get the netherite scraps from ancient debris, and then once you've gathered those, you can come in with your netherite scrap and your gold ingots, and that's going to create your kind of something like that, and that's going to create your netherite ingot. And now with the netherite ingot, you can put 9 of them together to create a netherite block, which is pretty cool. It looks like this. So a block of netherite, really cool feature. You can use this to power a beacon, just like you would anything else. You can also use netherite ingots to turn the beacon on. So that's a really cool building feature. But the thing that we're all waiting for with this is that if I come in here with my chest plate and I pop a netherite ingot in there, I get the netherite chest plate. Right now, one feature of the netherite stuff is that it will not be destroyed by lava. As you can see, it for some reason it bounces around on the lava. I don't know if it will just do that forever. But if you die down in a cave wearing your netherite armor, it's going to kind of do this, and hopefully until it gets to an edge. And if, as you can see, I've got full netherite armor on, and it does seem to take reduced damage from lava while wearing the netherite armor. But once I die here, let's see. Oh, I'm respawned in the nether. Oh, because of this. There we go. So that's still working and on. So let's pop back into the overworld. And head over here to our lava pit. As you can see, all of our netherite objects are, and the soulfire objects and other things that do not burn are now over here. Some of those things I think just flew out of there, but that's okay. I don't... Yeah, those burn. Those burn. That burns. So some of those objects just managed to explode out of me. But these other objects, they do not burn up in lava, so you'll be able to get them back, which is nice because once you get fully enchanted netherite gear, that'll be something you definitely wouldn't want to lose. Alright, another new item in the game is the advancement. Now you can get Slowness 4 as a potion all to itself. You can get it in the just the potion, the Splash Potion, and the Lingering Potion. So if I... Oh, here we go. Let's go. But I don't want to run through this because it's going to slow me down. Oh, 80% slow, but super slow, and you can also get it into the arrow of slowness if you you know, dip it into a cauldron and do those things. So that's a new addition as well. I think it's pretty straightforward. Glowstone to a regular potion of slowness will upgrade it. Gunpowder, and you know, the lingering is the dragon's breath. So all of those things that you need to make the more advanced. Oh no, I did it to myself. But I got them too. The more advanced slowness potion. They've also added a new banner pattern into the game, which is the snout pattern, as you can see here. And it can be gotten from bartering with hoglins, so we'll see that in a little bit. But it is the, you got a little snout. It's kind of cool. Alright, next and the final item addition is the spawn eggs for all the new spawns. Now the zombified piglin is the new zombified pigman, and you can see there's a little bit of change to the design of those. We've got our striders, which do not spawn in the overworld, and you can see he turned blue because he's not in lava. I feel bad for him, but he can spawn with another strider on top. And do those things. But if I spawn him over here in lava, he'd be a little bit happier. And they can occasionally spawn naturally with saddles on them if they have a rider. And you can put a saddle on them and then carry around a warped fungus on a stick. There you go. To kind of control them or get them to do what you want them to do. As you can see, oh, they're following me now already. Here we go. Come on, boys. Next, you've got the hoglin, which spawns naturally in the nether. And if you were to bring one into the overworld, after about, you can see he's shivering. After about 15 seconds, he's going to turn into a zoglin. There he goes. So he turns into a zoglin and he'll attack everything. And you've got the zoglin there. We've also got our piglin, which will turn into a zombified piglin if it's left in the overworld as well. And so those are our new kind of mob spawners. I believe we are only about halfway through all the new material and features in the game, so there's so much added to this. But now we're in the nether, and this is because all of those new mobs that spawn here or are in the nether are naturally occurring here. And so as you can see, here's some hoglins down here, and you can hunt the hoglins. And now over here we've got some piglins, which are hostile to the player, but they do like gold. So let's see if we can distract our piglin friend here. He's shooting me. There they go. They're going after the gold. So you can distract them with gold. And they'll give you things if you give them gold. So as you can see, they're throwing out different items once you give them gold. And if you are wearing gold armor, let me go ahead and put on a piece of gold armor here. They will not attack you. They'll view you as a friend because they like gold. That's just what they do. So you can see here some of the various different items you can get from piglins by bartering with them. And this is the bartering system, kind of dropping things. You can see we've got some gravel, nether brick blocks, obsidian, fire charges, crying obsidian. So this is actually a really easy way to use up gold, which is, aside from like powered rails, a fairly useless thing because we don't wear armor from gold and things. Oh, they drop a book. Got a soul speed book, so you can run faster on soul sand. So these are pretty cool. A lot of ender pearls. So bartering with piglins, awesome new feature. Alright, our next new mob to the game is the Strider. And to find those, you just need to find lava, because they will spawn naturally in lava in the nether. And they may be more or less common. Here we go. So we've got a Strider here, and Striders are pretty cool. You can pop a saddle on them, and you can ride them just like you do any other mob. You can't control their actions unless you have a warped fungus on a stick. So kind of like the way we control pigs with a carrot on a stick, you can control a Strider like this. And this little Strider's got a friend, and his little baby Strider. Now, as long as you're in lava, the Strider is fine. But if you exit out of the lava, the Strider's going to turn blue, and they're going to move much slower than this, but they move really fast in the lava. If you take them into the overworld, they can be damaged by rain and by water. So these are nether guys, and they like to live and be in the nether. And they're kind of really weirdly cute in so many ways. Now, for the new biomes, we've already talked about the Crimson Forest and the Warped Forest, which we have seen a lot of thanks to spawning in one of those areas. But there are some other biomes as well. So our traditional Nether biome, which looks like this, is now just called the Nether Wastes. So what used to be what the Nether always looked like, it now just is called the Nether Wastes. And here's some of that naturally spawning gold ore there. And so while I would say most of the nether is still kind of looking like this, we are still getting those. Now, we also get these basalt basalt deltas. I don't know why I call them plateaus. And as you can see, we've got these pillars of basalt, the lava pools and things like that. Magma cubes are going to spawn here a lot more common than they would normally. Now, we also get the soul sand valleys that kind of look like this. As you can see, there's basalt pillars that go all the way from the valley floor to the roof. We also get these structures here, which are fossil structures that are spawning naturally there. We're going to see more ghasts and skeletons. You can see all the skeletons spawning here. There's going to be some of that soul fire we talked about spawning naturally. And then here you can see the soul soil and the soul sand. So the soul sand, again, still makes you move slowly. The soul soil does not, but it's there. And so this is... Sorry, I got distracted by reading my notes. This is these are the new the biomes that you can find within the game. And so the nether is looking awesome and different, and there's so much more to explore and so many more blocks to pull into it. Alright, one of the new structures that has now popped up in the game is the Bastion Ruins. And they come in many shapes and sizes, but here's one naturally spawning. And you can see they're actually very large structures, mostly composed of that black stone with little, polished blackstone bricks and things with some basalt. They are home to the hoglins and the piglins, and you can see there's lanterns and all kinds of things. Now, if you're wearing your armor, they're not going to attack you, as we already pointed out. The zombie or the piglins and the hoglins. Well, I think the hoglins will still attack you, but the piglins see you as a friend, I guess, as long as you're wearing gold. The hoglin doesn't though, so he's coming to kill me. But the moment you attempt to take any of their treasure, they are all going to come after you. There we go. So these are there, and these are very massive structures. They kind of, you can see they are relatively large from the outside, but many of them have large interior rooms and structures and different things to explore and so much gold to find. But they are going to be dangerous places because the moment you start to try to take any of the stuff, the piglins are going to come after you, and they're hoglins as well. All right, if you can believe it, we have covered about 48 new additions to the game, from all the different mobs and the structures and all of the blocks and the biomes and the new enchantments and different things. The last really interesting addition is the adding in of emotes. And so if you come in here, you can kind of see that we've got different types of emotes for our character, and I don't... Here we go. So there's 3 different emotes. We've got greetings, I guess, clapping, and a wave. Oh, I guess that's the over there. There we go. And a wave. So these are added to the game, which I guess I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing, and so this makes me think of Animal Crossing. But now I can wave. I can say, hey, everybody. This is the Great Escape, and welcome to the Nether Update. Alright, so now we're getting into changes to the original game brought about in this update, and we've got about 30 new features or changes, so we're going to work through them as quickly as we possibly can. The first is that the beacon, we could always put a stained glass over the beacon and change the color of the beam, but now you can mix and match. So if I put a blue here, it's going to add the blue to the red. If I put a yellow here, it adds the red to the yellow to the red and makes the orange, and you know that's going to work for all the different ones. So so we've got blue, and if I add that yellow, it's going to make kind of a greenish. There we go. It's kind of an ugly green, different than the regular green. But you can now mix and match your colors and change the color of your beacon using stained glass. All right, our next change comes to the spawning of bee nests. They do spawn still, you know, with the natural generation of the world in certain locations, but we can now farm them, and I've got the tick speed set way up. So let's see how good this is going to work. It's about a 5% probability that if a tree grows next to, within 2 blocks of a flower, there we go, it'll have a bee's nest spawn with it. And so this one actually spawned with 2, which is pretty awesome. And so this is a way to farm bees nests. You can now collect those, of course, with your silk touch once the bees are inside, and move it anywhere you want to move it, and you can create a bee farm. So this is a super simple way to do that. Just after a couple of minutes, you can see how many of these have spawned now. So just having some trees 2 blocks away from some flowers, you're going to get these spawning naturally. Now I've got the tick speed way up, so it's not going to be this fast, but it'll still work like that. All right, the next one is a great quality of life upgrade. If you've ever worked with redstone and you've worked with observers, you know that sometimes you'll put an observer down and it'll set off your whole redstone system, because when the observer goes down, it puts out a redstone pulse, and it no longer does that. So as you can see, there was no redstone pulse initiated there. Of course, if I've got one going because I updated the observer. But so you've got this is now a new quality of life upgrade. Another quick little addition, you used to have to just deal with the fact that your shulkers were dyed a certain color, but now you can use a cauldron to get them back to their original shulker color if you decided that that lime green was just not for you. All right, the next change has to do with walls, and so now you can stack walls on top of each other like this, and they won't have any gaps, and they will actually form taller walls, which is really cool. I can just... Oh, that's weird. I can just see the usage for this in building castles and different things. That's going to look awesome. That looks already really cool. But they kind of do that. And also now iron bars will connect to the side of walls. They used to kind of just float free with one another. And the same thing with, if I come in here and put a glass pane, glass panes will also do that. So you can now create a full house out of walls and have the glass panes kind of do that in the middle instead of have them just floating there. right, the next big changes are with the hoe. And if you want to really flex, get a netherite hoe and put efficiency 5, unbreaking 3, and silk touch on that hoe, and you're going to have a massive a beast. Now the hoe has been upgraded to be the main tool for mining all of these blocks, so super fast on all of these. And I'm not in survival. Almost instantaneous mine with efficiency 5 on all of those. And if you've ever mined sponges, you know exactly how annoying that is. And also leaf blocks. Just as fast probably as the shears, if not faster. And you can still get all of those leaves with the hoe as well. If you decide to grow a large spruce tree, like this, you will get Podzol. It'll now spawn around the Podzol, or around the spruce tree. I think as it did in the Java edition, and maybe the old console editions did this as well. But you now get Podzol when you grow those large spruce trees. And we're running down the last few things very quickly. In the Overworld, wolves will now spawn in a few new places. The spawn rate of iron golems and squid have increased. Although I don't see any squid over here. I guess this might not be a river. But you should be able to see iron golems spawning more quickly. So there we go. There's one there. But if we get a working iron golem farm set up in Bedrock, then we will have that. And my game's jumpy because the tick rate's at 400. If you are looking for skeletons, go to the Soul Sand Valley. If you want to find magma cubes, go to Basalt Deltas. If you want ghasts, they spawn mostly in Soul Sand Valleys and Basalt Deltas, and Endermen in Soul Sand Valleys and in the Warped Forests. So those are kind of the major changes. There is so much that's happened and changed with this new feature, and it's great to be back on YouTube, sharing with you all and discussing this. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite new features are to the game, and what you're looking forward to most now that we've got this new Nether update out. But if you really enjoyed this video, please drop a like down in the bottom. It really does help the channel. And comment, because that definitely helps as well. And if you want to see more like it and a new series of a survival world in the Nether, then please subscribe. But this has been The Great Escape, and welcome to the Nether. I'll see you next time.